back, everybody. If you're new to this is one man's journey discovering God in prison, with very little literature in there. I stumbled upon an AA pamphlet, and it really focused on a lot of Bible passages to help with recovery. And I kind of rediscovered a higher power, something I believed in, being spiritual, but I felt that spirituality was close, but it left a lot of leeway for just improper behavior. And this was kind of like me rediscovering my old Roman Catholic roots and finding some peace and some understanding in the Bible, a book that all of us have somewhere in our house. We never really look at. Boy, I read a lot while in prison, and Old Testament, New Testament, the Torah, even looked at the Quran and a lot of Buddhist teachings too, which is more of a way of life. But so today we're going to cover, because I think it's important to discuss these things, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on some of these passages. Today we're going to cover Matthew 19. We'll start with 3 to, let's go all the way to 12. Okay? When Jesus had finished saying these things, he left Galilee and went down to the region of Judea, east of the Jordan River. Now I'm starting at 1, but so bear with me here. Went down to the region of Judea, east of the Jordan River. Large crowds followed him there, and he healed their sick. Some Pharisees came and tried to trap him with this question: should a man be allowed to divorce his wife for just any reason? Haven't you read the scriptures? Jesus replied. They record that from the beginning God made them male and female. Not a very popular statement in this day and age, but screw it. I believe it. And he said, this explains why a man leaves his father and mother and is joined to his wife, and the two are united into one. Since they are no longer two, but one, let no one split apart what God has joined together. Then, why did Moses say in the law that a man could give his wife a written notice of divorce and send her away, they asked. Jesus replied, Moses permitted divorce only as a concession to your hard hearts. But it was not what God had originally intended. And I tell you this, whoever divorces his wife and marries someone else commits adultery, unless his wife has been unfaithful. Jesus' disciples then said to him, if this is the case, it is better not to marry. And Jesus says, not everyone can accept this statement. Only those whom God helps. Some are born as eunuchs, some have been made eunuchs by others, and some choose not to marry. For the sake of kingdom of heaven, let anyone accept this who can. So basically, my understanding is that God is saying it's better to stay unmarried because I think that life has a lot to offer, and you have a lot to offer life, and it's important to put your focus on your mission here. But if you do marry, if you join with someone, make it a good choice. You guys might have seen some of my other videos where I really push you guys not to settle, but and we're all guilty of it. We've all kind of thought we were in love and just met someone who probably wasn't really that compatible with us, but we really appreciated qualities of theirs, that maybe qualities that we want to emulate, maybe qualities that we really look for in a partner, but they weren't quite as compatible. And I think what the Bible's trying to say here is to just make the right choice the first time, and once you do commit to somebody, do not part. If God puts you two together, stay together, Now, there was a lot of pushback on this, and so Moses kind of budged a bit and made it so that, if your wife is unfaithful, or she does certain things that are pretty hard to forgive or let go, that you can separate, but that's not how God intended it. He intended it so that when we find our person, our penguin, our soulmate, that we stay with them through thick and thin, which leads into marriage and why it's so sacred. Sure, divorce rates are pretty high. It's pretty hard to pull off a really strong and loyal and everlasting relationship these days. I think we've been tainted by Hollywood and a lot of other influences to give us unrealistic expectations, yet at the same time, we also have some serious expectations and deal breakers that we often budge on or are a little too flexible with because of the heat of the moment or, an attraction. But, there's something to be said about avoiding certain temptations and just going with your heart and finding that person that is for you. And when you do find that person, you are loyal, faithful, and committed to them. And that God intended us to not part from that person. And so I think that really drives home the point of how relationships are not quite the same as they used to be. And they are seriously lacking in the quality that God intended for us. And we should have those standards in mind. We should try harder to find people that we wouldn't want to part from, that we would fight for, that we are extremely loyal to, because that's how God intended it to be. There's something to be said about not having somebody who will complete you, because I don't really believe in that being that whole 50% of a person and needing somebody else. But I think that we're all, us souls have met before, and we are part of something big. And sometimes, and I believe this, that souls can be several different people, and when you find somebody who you connect with so fully that they almost feel like a part of you, there's a possibility that they just might be, and that maybe you are finally whole. Maybe both souls have met in union and they just seem to be in sync. You finish each other's sentences, you like all the same things, you have the same values and morals. And I think that that's really important. A lot of people overlook this, much to their, you get some pretty disastrous and tragic results. So I guess the bottom line is, don't settle. Spend the time to find out what you were looking for, who is right for you, and when you find them and they find you and you both are mutually satisfied, fight for that, because that's rare these days, and it's important, and it's what God intended. So that's Matthew 19, and more specifically 3 to 12. And I hope you enjoyed that. And I hope you guys have all the luck in the world finding that special penguin for you. And if you're confused by that reference, penguins mate for life. It's what God intended. Divorce rates were not what God intended. And remember, there's a lot to be said for faithfulness. It's a real expression of character, morals, and just, it's something the world is lacking. So let's bring it back. Love you guys. Let me know in the comments section what you think of this video and your interpretation of Matthew 19, 3 to 12. Have a great day.